I'm a single father of 4 kids, 3 boys, 1 girl. A lot of things have gone on in my life. 1 being a single father, and 2 with the economy and finances and loss of job got me into the situation that I'm in now with needing assistance. At that point in time in my life, what I was going through and feeling were a lot of different emotions. I knew as being a father, a single father, that I had to provide mainly for my kids. That was my #1 priority. We did find ourselves displaced. We were living in the car initially, starting off whenever I did have the job that I had, and whenever I did have the finances, we lived in hotel rooms. So it was altering from hotel rooms to the car. I even went to my employee and let them know and made them aware of the situation that I was in. And from that kind of started a snowball effect, because my boss, manager, volunteered at different organizations. So she gave me different organizations and made calls for me as well to help me out. I found out about the Salvation Army going through other programs, asking a lot of questions, seeking a lot of just direction to go in. One of the programs that directed me to the Salvation Army was Family Promise of Gwinnett County. Working with them and having them to provide shelter for me and the kids over a couple of days or a month and a half. Then I got involved with the Salvation Army. So that's how I got connected with the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army differed compared to other organizations because a lot of organizations cater to single women with kids. The Salvation Army didn't discriminate. Here it is, I'm a single father with 4 kids. So, I was looked at in a different aspect than other organizations where to me, I felt as if I was looked at with a lot more respect, because this man has 4 kids. He's not giving his kids up. He's not allowing anything to happen to his kids. He's willing to go out and provide for his kids by whatever means necessary. I would probably still be struggling more so than I am now, not having a lot of stability like I have now, had I not got in with the Salvation Army. They help you they give you that encouragement and that support, whether it be emotionally, psychologically, or financially, or just physically, to let you know that you're still a person, that you had a bump in the road, you're getting over that bump, and here's a little push to help you along.
The Salvation Army gave me hope in having shelter. It gave me hope that there's a tomorrow for us, hope that our life would be stabilized again. I've known about the Salvation Army for ever. I've shopped with Salvation Army, and my daughter went to the Boys and Girls Club at times, and whenever we needed energy assistance, we could go to the Salvation Army, and I also knew that they had church services. My financial need came about by my loss of my job in 2012. My unemployment ended. After working like 30-something years, you can only get a certain amount. And so I had no place to go, so I moved in with a family member. And at that time, we had stayed as long as we could stay with them, and we found ourselves in need of housing. And I went to the Salvation Army. My daughter and myself, we felt discouraged. We felt lost. We wasn't sure what direction we were going to go in. I needed a place to live. I found an apartment, but I couldn't afford the expenses of moving in, and they provided me with the fundings that I needed to move into the apartment and help me with my utilities as well. My caseworker, he made me feel like there was hope, and that he genuinely cared about my well-being and my daughter. He was compassionate. If I hadn't found the Salvation Army, I believe my daughter and I would have been in a shelter or maybe homeless.
Before the Salvation Army, my wife and 3 children, we were living in an apartment complex in East Point, Georgia. Everything was swell. I had, no concerns as far as, making means for my children or whatnot. And then I ran into carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide poisoning, what it does, it kills the white blood cells, which carry oxygen to your brain. So if I were standing still, it felt like I was running, and I operated heavy equipment machinery, and I couldn't go to work on all the medication. So I ended up losing my job due to, I missed 14 days consecutively, and they had to let me go. I really felt hopeless at that time. Pretty much that day I made the decision, like, man, we gotta go into a shelter. We couldn't believe it. You go from buying anything you want, living nice, to I'm going in a shelter. And of course the shelter, when we thought of the Salvation Army, we're thinking about the movies. You see people in shelters and all these people laying on the floors and stuff. So the shelter was like, whoa, I'm not trying to do that. But you have to have some means of protection and shelter for your family. Today, I'm blessed, man. I can tell you I have my own business. I sell fragrances, perfume, cologne. We have a beautiful home. We just moved into another house. After last year, we stayed there for 2 years. We moved into another house, upgraded, 3-bedroom, beautiful home. I still go back to the Salvation Army. Ever since I left, when I was there, one of the main things I noticed was children needed haircuts. And the mothers, a lot of single moms, they couldn't afford to get the children haircuts, stuff like that. So I started just, playing with my own head and my son's head. They're like, oh, Mr. Brown, you can cut hair. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm like, yes, you can. But pretty much for the past 2-3 years, I've been going down. I cut all the kids' hair. It doesn't matter, children steady coming in, coming out, new families come in all the time. So at least once or twice out the week or every other week, I go down and cut the children's hair as a way to give back. And but my family, my wife is working, she's doing nursing. My children, they're in the academies, they're doing great in school, principals lists, all that good stuff, man. And I most definitely, everywhere I go, I tell everybody about the Salvation Army. I bump into other families who are going through struggling times, stuff like that, and I tell them about the Salvation Army, Angel Tree, things of that nature. And a lot of people, they're like, wow, I didn't know. And until I went through the situation, I didn't know. I just knew there was a homeless shelter, but it's most definitely, it's bigger than a homeless shelter. It was like a family, they embraced you like family. Doing the most good, and when they say the most good, I most definitely will have to say it's due to them being hands-on in so many different areas. You can sit here and just woe is me, or you can just go ahead and let somebody help you with a fresh start, and that was the Salvation Army.